30 points, 23 rebounds, and 4 blocks in Game 1. Anchored the Lakers' defense, kept the Warriors from doing much inside in Game 1. You saw the last 15 teams to lose Game 1 at home and won Game 2. Kevon Looney dealing with an illness, so JaMychal Green in the starting lineup. Warriors will take any points they can get from their bigs, and Green with a 3. He had 3 triples in this game, matched career playoff high with 15. Warriors up 3, but LeBron James came out firing as well. Puts the Lakers up 2. And then later, just over a minute to go in the first, James wrapping up a big quarter. 6 of 8 from the floor. Lakers up 6 there. Final seconds of the first, Lakers up 5. James pulling up, knocking it down. First quarter in double figures in these playoffs for James. He had 14 in the first. Lakers up 7 after 1. Early second quarter. Stephen Curry whips it to Dante DiVincenzo, hits the 3. Warriors 38 assists on their 48 buckets. They cut the lead to 2. Later in the quarter, Curry with a steal. Gonna wait patiently for Klay Thompson to get there and spot up, knock it down. Warriors take the lead. Less than 9 minutes to go in the second. Curry gets a layup to go. He's more facilitator than scoring in this game. Warriors up by 3. They shot 51% as a team. Later in the quarter, shot clock winding down. James able to track down the loose ball. And 3 more of his 21 in the first half. Had just 2 points in the second half as the game got away from the Lakers, but it was tied at 40 there. Thompson, playoff Klay, activated. Warriors up 7. Thompson again. 19 in the first half. Warriors outscored the Lakers 41-23 in the second. They were up 11 at the half. Anthony Davis had that huge Game 1. Struggled in the first half of Game 2. 3 turnovers in the first half to go with just 4 points. 0 for 5 in the first half on contested shots. 0 for 4 with Draymond Green on him. Had 11 points and 7 rebounds for the game, and the Warriors will take that every single time. Let's go early third quarter now. Warriors up 15, they're looking to extend it. They get it to Thompson again. Splash! Warriors 21 of 42 from 3. That's 50%. They came back for 43 more points in the third quarter. And then JaMychal Green from Curry. Curry with 12 assists in the game, his most in the playoff game under Steve Kerr. Also chipped in with 20 points. Under 3 minutes to go in the third, the Warriors up 20. It's Thompson again off the screen. Got an ovation as he came out. Scored 30 points, 6 career playoff game with 8 3-pointers. That's the most all-time. The Warriors up 23. And by the end of the third, it was all over. Curry. Warriors have hit 42 threes in the first 2 games of this series. Dell just got to shake his head. Warriors roll 127-100 to even the series at a game apiece.
How were you guys able to be so dominant tonight?
Well, we realized we let one go in Game 1, and we've been having to bounce back all year from adversity, and not a better group to do it with than these guys. So came out, our offense was flowing, turnovers were low, hitting open man. We keep it simple. The floodgates can open.
The beauty of what we can do is playing a lot of different ways, trying to create good offense a lot of different ways, using gravity. But that was connected with our defense and the emphasis on not fouling. We stuck with the game plan and played to our favor.
You know, we knew they were going to do that. That's what a championship team does, and you know they held serve on their home court tonight, and we got to obviously see the adjustments they make. We got to make our adjustments coming into Game 3.
So I mean, I took all the same shots I took in Game 1. You know, just missed them. We'll be better. I'll be better. You know, making those shots. You know, get back home on our home floor, and try to take care of business.
It was Thompson who took care of business in Game 2. 30 points, 24 off 3-pointers. He improves to 76-15 in his career when he scores at least 30 points. That's the best record by any player in NBA history. Let's delve into Game 2 some more with Stephen A. Smith, who joins us in the studio. Good to have you here.
Good to be here. When
this series began, rightfully so, we talked a lot about Steph Curry and LeBron James, but so far the central figures have been Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson in Game 2, what impressed you most about his performance?
Well, he needed to show up. He needed to show up and look like Klay Thompson. That's exactly what he did. He dropped 30. He was hitting threes from all over the place. There was no hesitancy on his shot at all, and that's what you need to see from Klay Thompson. Remember, they're going to key on Steph Curry.
Yep.
When he's off the ball, you're going to have somebody face guarding him at all times, no matter how many times they have to switch just to keep an adversary in his face. If he's got the ball in his hands, they're going to try to pressure him 94 feet, try to drain him out. He needs help. And the help needs to come from his splash brother teammate, which is Klay Thompson. When Klay is flowing, obviously that makes life easier for Steph and the Golden State Warriors. They get off. In the case of Anthony Davis, listen, in even and odd number games, believe it or not, 1, 3, 5, another game won in the Western Conference Series, he's averaging like 28 and 17 on 55% shooting. In those even number games, it dips to like 13 points, 11 rebounds on 39% shooting coming into game 2 tonight. This is what you have to worry about with Anthony Davis. I knew when he played 45 minutes the other night, he was going to have some trouble tonight.
Was that just an off night for him, or do you think it was something that the Warriors did to limit his effectiveness?
No, I'm going to say it was an off night because he had plenty of opportunities inside and a little bit extended beyond the paint where he was wide open and just couldn't drain shots. He didn't look like he had the legs under him. He certainly didn't look enthused about playing. And obviously, when he looks like that, it compromises the success of the Los Angeles Lakers. And it most certainly did tonight, as you can see.
Yeah, this one got away from him, but they get the split in the Bay. Coming back home, what are the adjustments Darvin Ham needs to make to regain home court advantage?
Well, the number one thing is you've got to get rest for Anthony Davis. Make sure he's got his massage. Make sure he's got his pedicures. Make sure he gets his any kind of therapeutic medicine that you can provide. Make sure he gets that. Make sure he's ready for Game 3 because LeBron James can't do but so much compared to what he did in the first half in Game 2. But the other parts are going to have to step in and help out. D'Angelo Russell, Hachimura, obviously Austin Reeves. They're going to have to be factors in this series offensively because no matter how much you stymie the Golden State Warriors, they've shown you repeatedly throughout the years that spurts are coming. Even when they're struggling offensively, even if it's just for a few minutes, they're coming. You have to be ready, and you have to be ready for that onslaught, and the only way you can deal with it is to be able to put points in the hole yourself. That's what the Lakers have to be ready to do.
All right, Game 3 Saturday here in Los Angeles. You sticking around?
I'm sticking around.
All right, we'll talk to you again.
The Warriors are going to pick up the pace. I think when you saw the sound from Steve Kerr articulating that, guess what? We felt like we were the fresher team as the game waned, particularly in the fourth quarter. I think that was indicative of the fact that they believe the Lakers have something to be concerned about because Anthony Davis played 45 minutes, didn't come out at all in the second half.
Right.
And when you consider that, and now you've got a game literally every other day in this series, are you really, really going to do that? Sure, you'll be able to if they get to the free throw line 29 times to your 6 as they did in Game 1. Sure, you'll be able to if Anthony Davis is dominant and he's allowed to be on the court without any foul trouble, without making sure fatigue kicks in more precipitously. If you're the Golden State Warriors, you have to be in attack mode from open and tap, and you have to push the pace as best as you possibly can at all times so you can get Anthony Davis out of the game, and that'll give guys like Looney and Draymond an opportunity to have a greater impact.
Well, I feel like you can't play those two together, Looney and Draymond. I feel like Steve Kerr is going to have to get to the point where he's going to have to stagger those minutes or bring one of those guys off the bench. But I feel like Draymond Green is the adjustment. When you look on the floor, it's two guys that we look at and say, oh, those guys could be, the best defensive player in the league. And that's Anthony Davis and Draymond Green. When Anthony Davis showed up to Game 1, Draymond Green has to show up for the Golden State Warriors. Matter of fact, he hasn't shown up since Game 5 for us impacting them in a huge way where we were like, that brother was out there. And I believe he had 21 points on the offensive end, but he has had a history at times of matching up with AD and actually giving him problems. I think it's time for him to elevate his game. And I'm not asking him to go out there and score 15 to 20 points, but I want his presence to be felt. Defensively, he's so smart and he accepts the matchup on the defensive end. I think I'm looking at Draymond Green. He's the guy. He's the adjustment that needs to be made.
Strange stat I got to throw at both of y'all. In odd number games, 1, 3, 5, 7, even though that didn't go to Game 7 in the first round series, Anthony Davis is averaging, 28, 17 on 55% shooting. In even number games, it's like 13 and 11 on 39% shooting. Not that that really matters in this game, but I thought to throw that out there. In the end, though, I want to throw it out another name, Klay Thompson. He had 25 points. You got people walking around acting like he had a good game. That ain't Stephen A. He shot 9 for 25. That is not a good shooting game for Klay Thompson. This is Klay Thompson we're talking about. One of the top 5 shooters in the history of basketball. You can't miss 16 shots out of 25. Think that's a good game, and that's going to suffice to help Steph Curry. He needs to be better.
There's no doubt that game 1, it belonged to a dominant Anthony Davis. But we are, 4 minutes into the show, and we have not mentioned Steph Curry or LeBron James at this point. And to me, at least, the game kind of switched a little bit, Perk, when Steph Curry stopped playing off ball so much and he started attacking and shooting every single time. Their lead, it waned when he started to do that. What do you expect from him?
Well, I expect him to have the ball in his hands more and be more involved in the pick and roll and not playing off the ball. I think that's another adjustment Steve Kerr has to make, but we have to be careful. Every time, we put a guy or quote a guy to say that he's a Steph stopper or he done came and did a great job, all of a sudden
here he comes.
He get that work the next game. So we're talking about a guy that's one of the most competitive guys this game has ever seen when it comes down to Steph. And I expect him to come out chewing that damn mouthpiece and smiling and going out there and giving people that work tonight. He will make adjustments on his own.
He will, but let's give the Lakers credit where credit is due. And I'm talking about collectively. You had defenders that were staring at Steph Curry. They didn't even know what the hell was going on the basketball court. They kept their eyes on him. They didn't take their eyes off him, and they were switching to make sure that there was I'm talking about when he didn't have the ball. They were making sure to have a body in his face and serve as an impediment to them getting him the ball. So obviously you got to work overtime just to get him the basketball. What Steve Kerr needs to do is put the ball in Steph Curry's hands. Let Steph Curry be that playmaker who potentially can score for you. Because if he has the ball in his hands, then obviously it's a problem for the Los Angeles Lakers. It causes more problems than him without the basketball. Put the ball in his hands and roll with your guy.
But see, I want y'all to think about something real quick. Think about the guys that are in that locker room, right? LeBron and Tristan Thompson. They've matched up with Steph plenty of times, been in the film room, studying on how to guard them. I want y'all to think about somebody else that's on the coaching staff. It's Damon Jones that was on Ty Lue's roster. So when I think about the game planning, and when I shot out there the other day that they actually kind of want to play the Golden State Warriors over the Kings, it's because they know Steph. And not knowing how to stop him because he's just that great, but know how to make it tough on him.
And D'Lo played with him. So you kind of have that too. But when we talk about
you're going to make total sense with what you're saying, the way you can articulate yourself and this brother right here. Of course it's going to sound beautiful and correct. That is not correct. You're not LeBron James and you want Steph Curry more than you want De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. These brothers can ball, mad respect for them, but they're puppies. You don't worry about no damn puppies when it comes to the postseason. You worry about the babyface assassin who's been around forever.
I couldn't wait for this. I just had this same conversation with Richard Jefferson, and I told him and Malika that my sources told me before game 1 that the Lakers wanted this matchup over the Sacramento Kings.
Right, but I also know this, Kendrick Perkins. I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, but this ain't the only show Kendrick Perkins does. And when
he's on all morning.
He's on all morning. And Kendrick Perkins, on many, many occasions, has talked about how sources lie sometimes. How they sit up here and they tell you that, but they lying through their damn teeth. And the Los Angeles Lakers, any Laker that told you they wanted Steph Curry more than De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento are liars, especially when you consider the fact that Sabonis plays for the Sacramento Kings and Anthony Davis would have had to go up against him instead of Looney and Draymond Green. Don't tell me they wanted Draymond Green and Looney more than he wanted Sabonis.
I'm going to tell you this. Draymond is going to have to at least put up Sabonis-type numbers, and that means putting up 15 a game in order for them to be successful and to show to me that your point is right and their point is wrong.
I, for one, am glad that this is the matchup that we got. We get another one of Steph versus LeBron. And it was interesting, Stephen A., to listen to Draymond Green on his podcast talk a little bit about how LeBron has changed. He said this is a different version of LeBron. We have not seen LeBron without the ball in his hands as much. It's actually an adjustment for us, a player we know so well, to have to play him in this chapter in his career. What are you expecting from him?
Well, it's just an appreciation for the greatness of LeBron James being the basketball savant that he is, knowing himself just as well as he knows his teammates. LeBron knows that on a night-in, night-out basis, asking him in his 20th season to carry carry that kind of load mentally as well as physically is a tall task. You got a dude like Anthony Davis, who, by the way, sensitivity, could you please wipe it out? Stop lying on the American public, acting like people saying you can't play. Anthony Davis, one of the top 7 talents in the game of basketball. Everybody and their grandmama knows it. The issue with him is whether or not he can be relied upon because of his health. Never a question about his game. You're LeBron James. You know that better than anybody. You give this brother the ball, you can get 30 and 23. As sensational as that performance was in Game 1, it's not beyond the pale for Anthony Davis to do close to this on a game-in, game-out basis because he's got those kind of skills. The question is his stamina and his durability, not his game. And LeBron knows that. Feed him first. See where he's at. And then you feed off of him as opposed to it being vice versa.
No, I agree. But I think AD could affect the game in so many areas that he don't have to go out and get 30. His defensive impact could win you a game. And I think the reason that we're seeing LeBron James play off the ball so much is because he has so much trust in Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, and D'Angelo Russell. He have trust in those guys. Like, go do your thing. But I will say this, I'm not going to let Braun off the hook. I wish he'd take this matchup more personal with Andrew Wiggins because Andrew Wiggins came out firing. Like, I don't want to see no more dabbing up and love my guy with him and Draymond and Steph. Like, we know y'all close friends. I want to see competing. I want to see competition. I want to see some fierce. Like, go out there and compete, man. We ain't here for all that.
I think the only thing that LeBron, outside of his brilliance as a basketball player, I think the only thing that he's mastered more than really showing what his relationships are amongst the league is those damn handshakes. He knows it.
He's got one with everybody.
He's got one with everybody, and he memorizes all of them. He never fails. So I give him credit for that. But I want to challenge Kendrick on this point when he talks about how you don't necessarily need to get 30 or close to 30. I would respectfully disagree, only because of this reason. That means I got to have faith that they don't put up buckets. Now, they're undefeated in the postseason when D'Angelo Russell scores at least 17 points. I get that part, okay? But I'm looking at a Vanderbilt. I'm looking at a D'Angelo. I'm looking at Austin Reeves. I'm looking at these cats, and I'm like this. Wait a minute. On a night-in, night-out basis, I know what they're capable of, but on a night-in, night-out basis, they don't always do that. Anthony Davis is a reliable offensive commodity. LeBron is too. Nobody else on the Lakers is night in, night out. They can do it, but sporadically. I can't trust that series against the Golden State Warriors. I need the 2 reliables to be reliable.
I mean, we did see Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura take a Game 1 from Memphis, and LeBron and AD take a back seat.
I totally agree with you. With you. But last time I checked, Memphis and Golden State are 2 different teams.
Yeah, and Memphis was actually a better defensive team than Golden State this year.
Sure. But they certainly weren't better offensively.
Yeah, but we're talking about defense. We're talking about getting buckets.
I'm just saying, but when you got a team that gets buckets, you got to score more buckets.
But what I'm saying is we're talking about being stopped. And what I saw here say was this, Malika, I saw Dennis Schroeder and D'Angelo Russell, they were getting into that basket whenever they wanted to.
But you know that's Golden State.
How?
They amp it up in spurts, but for the most part, they're lackadaisical with that and their turnovers. You know this.
But look, this is what I'm saying, and this goes back to my sources. My sources asked, they said, who is going to guard Austin Reeves, who is going to guard D'Angelo Russell, and who's going to guard Dennis Schroeder. In Game 1, my sources seem like they on point with something.
I just have a problem, America, with Kendrick Perkins sitting up here talking about his sources. Now, I know he has them. I think he said
sauces.
I know he has them. Sauces.
Yeah, his sauces.
I know he has them. I'm not questioning that. But he the kind of person that sources will run away from. Look, what's going on? Tell me what the hell is up. I mean, I don't know that's how you go about getting information.
All I know.
I just don't know.
All I know. I know men lie. I know women lie. I know numbers do not lie. And here's a good sign for the Warriors tonight. Home teams that lose